Welcome to the English Explorers YouTube channel. Today, this video will share essential traveling vocabularies such as accommodation, excursion, immigration, expedition, sightseeing, guest house, package tour, and more vocabulary. Well, let's get started.
Itinerary, a detailed plan or schedule outlining the places to visit and the times for each activity during a trip. Example, our itinerary includes a guided tour of the city in the morning and a boat ride in the evening. Accommodation, a place where travelers can sleep and stay, such as a hotel, motel, hostel, or campsite. Example, we booked our accommodation 2 months in advance to get a good deal on the beach resort. Backpack, a bag with shoulder straps that allow it to be carried on one's back, commonly used for hiking or traveling. Example, she packed her backpack with essentials for the day trip, including water, snacks, and a camera. Currency, the system of money in general use in a particular country. Example, when traveling to Europe, it's important to exchange your money for the local currency, the euro. Destination, the place to which someone or something is going or being sent. Example, their holiday destination was a remote island in the Pacific. Excursion, a short journey or trip, particularly one engaged in as a leisure activity. Example, the cruise offered various excursions at each port, including snorkeling and city tour. Flight, the action or process of flying through the air, typically referring to travel by airplane. Example, her flight was delayed due to bad weather, so she had to wait at the airport. Guidebook, a book of information about a place, designed for the use of visitors or tourists. Example, he used a guidebook to find the best restaurants and attractions in the city. Hostel, an establishment that provides inexpensive food and lodging for a specific group of people, such as students, workers, or travelers. Example, the budget hostel was popular among backpackers because of its central location and friendly atmosphere. Immigration, the place at an airport or country's border, where government officials check the documents of people entering that country. Example, he had to wait in line at immigration to have his passport stamped before entering the new country. Jet lag, fatigue and disorientation caused by the disruption of the body's normal rhythm due to long-distance travel across multiple time zones. Example, after flying from New York to Tokyo, I experienced severe jet lag and couldn't sleep properly 4 days. Luggage, personal belongings packed in bags for travel. Example, we had to pay extra because our luggage exceeded the airline's weight limit. Passport, a government-issued document that certifies the identity and nationality of its holder for the purpose of international travel. Example, make sure your passport is valid for at least 6 months beyond the date of your intended return. Reservation, an arrangement made in advance to secure a service or space, such as a seat on a plane or a table at a restaurant. Example, I made a reservation at the Italian restaurant for 7 p.m. tonight. Tourist, a person who travels to places away from home for pleasure and recreation. Example, the tourists flocked to the beach for the summer festival. Visa, an official authorization appended to a passport, permitting entry into and travel within a particular country or region. Example, he applied for a visa to study abroad in Australia for a semester. Attraction, a place of interest where tourists visit, typically for its inherent or exhibited natural or cultural value. Historical significance, natural or built beauty, or amusement opportunities. Example, the ancient ruins were a major attraction for history buffs visiting Greece. Boarding pass, a document provided by an airline during check-in, giving a passenger permission to enter the restricted area of an airport and to board the airplane for a particular flight. Example, she printed her boarding pass at home to save time at the airport. Check-in, the process of confirming one's presence and registering, typically upon arrival at a hotel or airport. Example, Online check-in is available 24 hours before the flight's scheduled departure. Departure, the act of leaving, especially to start a journey or when leaving a place of lodging. Example, the departure time for our train is 6 a.m. sharp, so we can't be late.
If you like this video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Expedition, a journey undertaken by a group of people with a specific purpose, often involving research or exploration in challenging environments. Example, the expedition to the Arctic aimed to study the effects of climate change on polar bears. Globetrotter, a person who travels frequently and widely, often for pleasure. Example, as a globetrotter, he had visited over 50 countries and had a collection of souvenirs from each. High season, the time of year when travel is most popular, often characterized by higher prices and larger crowds. Example, hotel rates during the high season in Hawaii can be double the price compared to the off-peak months. Inn, a small hotel or lodging establishment, typically found in the countryside, offering food and accommodation. Example, the cozy inn by the lake provided a perfect weekend getaway with its rustic charm. Journey, the act of traveling from one place to another, which can be physical, emotional, or metaphorical. Example, her solo journey across Europe was a life-changing experience. Landmark, a prominent or well-known object or feature of a landscape or town, often used as a point of reference. Example, the Eiffel Tower is an iconic landmark in Paris that attracts millions of visitors each year. Motel, a hotel providing travelers with lodging and free parking facilities, typically located along highways. Example, after a long day of driving, they stopped at a motel to rest for the night. Nomad, a person who does not have a permanent home and moves from place to place, often living a minimalist lifestyle. Example, modern nomads may work remotely while traveling the world. Off-peak, times when demand for travel and accommodation is lower, resulting in less crowded conditions and often cheaper prices. Example, traveling during the off-peak season can save you a lot of money on flights and hotels. Pilgrimage, a religious journey to a sacred place, often undertaken as an act of spiritual devotion. Example, the ancient pilgrimage route to Santiago de Compostela is still popular with modern-day pilgrims. Quarantine, a strict isolation imposed to prevent the spread of disease. Example, the hotel provided a comfortable quarantine facility for guests who were waiting for their COVID-19 test results. Reception, the area in a hotel or building where guests are greeted and check-in or out processes occur. Example, we collected our room keys from the reception desk when we arrived. Sightseeing, the activity of visiting and seeing places and objects of interest. Example, we spent the whole day sightseeing in Rome, visiting the Colosseum and the Vatican. Transit, the act or process of moving through or across a place on the way to a destination. Example, our flight had a brief transit in Dubai before continuing to our final destination. Vacation, a period spent away from home or business in travel or recreation. Example, we're planning a 2-week vacation to the Caribbean this winter. Wayfarer, a traveler, especially one who travels on foot. Example, as a true wayfarer, she walked the entire length of the Great Wall of China. Adventurer, a person who seeks out and enjoys adventurous activities, often involving some form of risk. Example, she lived the life of an adventurer. Skydiving, scuba diving, and trekking in remote locations. Baggage claim, the area in an airport where passengers retrieve their checked luggage after a flight. Example, we waited at the baggage claim carousel for our suitcases to appear. Cruise, a trip on a ship or boat taken for pleasure, often stopping at several ports. Example, they celebrated their anniversary with a luxury cruise around the Mediterranean. Embassy, the official headquarters or residence of an ambassador and their staff, representing their government in a foreign country. Example: if you lose your passport abroad, you should contact your country's embassy for assistance. Fare: the fee paid by a passenger for use of public transportation. Example: the bus fare in the city is quite affordable, making it a popular choice for commuters. Guest house: a type of lodging similar to a bed and breakfast, often run in a private home. Example: we stayed at a charming guest house that offered a homemade breakfast each morning. Hitchhiking: the practice of traveling by soliciting free rides from passing vehicles. Example: he traveled across the country by hitchhiking, relying on the kindness of strangers. Intercontinental: travel or transport that occurs between different continents. Example: she took an intercontinental flight from Asia to North America for her business trip. Kayak: a slim, pointed boat that is propelled with a double-bladed paddle. Example: we rented kayaks and paddled around the lake, enjoying the serene environment. Lodge: a small house or cottage, often in a rural or wilderness setting, used for temporary accommodation. Example: they booked a lodge in the national park to experience wildlife up close. Map: a visual representation of an area, showing physical features, roads and landmarks. Example: before setting out on our hike, we studied the trail map carefully. Navigator: a person who plans the course of a journey, especially on a ship or aircraft. Example: as the navigator for our road trip, she was responsible for directing us along the best routes. Outbound: traveling away from a particular place, especially on the first leg of a round trip. Example: our outbound flight leaves at 8 a.m. and will return on the evening flight next week. Package tour: a pre-arranged holiday in which the travel company organizes the details like flights, hotels, and sometimes meals for a set price. Example: they booked a package tour to Europe, which included all their hotels, transportation, and guided tour.
That is all for today. I hope you have learned vocabulary related to travel. Keep learning, and constant practice will help you improve your English. Please watch more helpful educational content videos to improve your English. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit like button and subscribe to the channel.